Well, I know somebody else that's either drinking too heavily or not on his medication. And you apprised me of this right before we went on the air today, that I was not aware of it, but Uncle Dave has issued his star ratings for the Full Gear pay-per-view matches. And you told me something that I was gobsmacked by, and I want you to tell the listeners how Uncle Dave rated the 3 best matches and in what order on that pay-per-view.
Well, I have the ratings for all of the matches because I think you kind of have to see this as an entire...
Well, you got to see the pattern developing.
That's right.
Do you want to go from worst to best so that it builds?
Well, yeah, let's do that. That may be the best way to do it.
According to Uncle Dave Meltzer, the worst match by his rating to the best match is and we'll see a pattern develop.
Well, as he would put it, the least good match.
The least good match. Start with that, and then we'll go to the most good match in his viewpoint.
Britt Baker and Ty Conti received 3.5 stars. 3.5 stars.
So the absolute worst match on the show was 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars.
Okay.
The next match, I guess, would be 4 stars. And that was for the Inner Circle versus America's Top Team Minneapolis Street Fight, a 4-star street fight.
So 2 of the guys in the match were having, if not their very first, well, maybe Junior Dos Santos, was that his second match? And
I think so.
Has Arlovsky had one?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so, and Lambert. So we had it was a 10-man tag where 3 of the 5 participants on one team were either in their very first or second professional wrestling match ever, with all the garbage and the weapons and the lack of logic and sense, and that got the same rating as Flair and Steamboat, Austin and Bret Hart, Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid. I could go on.
Well, it's about what a match means to its time and the room also. Obviously, Tiger Mask and Dynamite.
That would be a great mascot for him. Tiger, here comes Tiger Mask with Tiger Mite.
His little dwarf mascot, Tiger Mite. Well, anyway, Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid didn't mean as much then as obviously the Inner Circle versus America's Top Team does.
What? They're still being watched today, and it was one of the most influential series of matches in the lighter weight category in professional wrestling, but it didn't mean as much in a sold-out building in Tokyo. That didn't mean as much as the Inner Circle and American Top Team in a street fight.
Jim, we have 2 matches that both received the coveted 4.25 star ratings. Coveted. They are both tag team matches.
Mm-hmm.
FTR versus the Lucha Brothers, 4.25 stars.
And we mentioned, if you want to see FTR's brilliance on full display, keep them out of the ring with the luchadors, because it's a complete bipolar clash of styles with a finish that was botched because one of the people involved in it didn't know what planet he was on, and it probably wasn't a good idea to begin with. But that got a higher rating than, well, just going back to Dave's soft spot, than almost every tag team tournament match in All Japan history.
Well, the other tag team match that received 4.25 stars was Cody Rhodes and Pac versus Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo.
Ooh. We watched it.
We did.
Was that better than, I'm trying to think of other famous 4-star matches in history, and was that better than any of them?
No.
Okay.
Well, the next match, I guess we have to go to 4.5 stars. There are 3 matches that 3 matches that received 4.5 stars.
Okay.
4.5 stars for Bryan Danielson versus Miro.
Again, we said, where did I rank that? I said behind MJF and Darby as a match and Punk and Kingston as a fight, yes. I thought that Danielson and Miro was the next best thing on the program. I still don't know whether I would say that it's better than every WrestleMania main event ever, than every Starrcade World Championship match. Was it better than Flair and Wyndham at Battle of the Belts?
No.
Okay.
No. Also, receiving 4.5 stars, CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston.
And you really can't argue with praising that in any way, shape, or form, except, when he's starting to break the scale anyway, but I can't argue. It was certainly better than everything that he's listed so far. So on this scale, I guess that works. But wait, then did MJF and Darby get the 5 stars then? Because that's the only thing that was better.
The other match that received 4.5 stars, MJF versus Darby Allin.
All right.
And we'll talk about this in a moment, because I think to put it in proper context, let's list the other 2 matches. The Super Click, comprised of the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, versus the Jurassic Express and Christian Cage in... was Falls Count Anywhere or something. 5-star match. I don't even know anyone in the building who would have said that was a 5-star match, but anyway. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page, the big title change.
Yep.
5.5 stars.
Oh, so even though when MJF and Darby Allin go out there and do everything that all the modern wrestling fans want, they had action, they innovated moves, they took the people on a ride while still satisfying the old wrestling fans who want some believability and some credibility and want the work to look good and want the rules to be followed where it doesn't make the referee look like an idiot and the whole thing look like a bogus batch of bullshit. And he gets 4.5, they get 4.5 stars. But so his friends won't be upset at him. He gives the 6-man mess 5 stars that, as you said, nobody in the building was even screaming at. And just to make sure that he doesn't contradict the narrative that Twinkle Toes is the world's greatest living wrestling artist, he has to get a 0.5 star above that. He has a nice world title change, and Hangman Page is over. That match was not better than anything that Ric Flair or Terry Funk or Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart or fucking anybody else that you could name as a major talent in the wrestling business over the past 40 years has ever perpetrated. That's ridiculous. Or Tiger Mask, or the Dynamite Kid, or all of the Japanese All Japan 90s tournament matches, or the 4 pillows of All Japan, or anybody ever. It wasn't better than anything ever. What the fuck? How can anybody take him seriously anymore?
I gave up on defending Dave a while ago. I've completely given up on it. And I think this is kind of one of those things that people talk about, and one of those things that it's embarrassing, I think, because people know what this really is. Enough people know what this really is. And I think the other thing is, for someone who labeled you as out of touch for such a long time, and remember, he told me, I forget what it was, I should get a time machine and go back to 1985. A reminder, I was 5 years old then, but whatever. I guess if I was in a time machine, it would be me now then, so that would work out just fine.
Hey, you could make money in the stock market.
You know what? That's a great idea. But I was going to say, the point is, I think he's right to an extent. You and me and other people who think like you are completely out of touch with the Young Bucks and Omegas and the style of comedy they like, and what they do in their matches, the makeup of their matches and their promos. I'm completely out of touch with that, and you are too, but I think the issue is Dave's completely out of touch with everyone who's not them, who's younger. Because to a man, everyone knows MJF Darby was the best match on that show, and quite frankly, I think, and time will tell, but I'll put money on this, 5 years, 7 years, whatever it may be, the kids who are getting involved in the business, they're going to cite that match. MJF Darby. It's one of those matches. That's Brett and Perfect. You know, it's like one of those matches that people are going to go, wow, I saw that and I wanted to do that. You talk to anyone in the building, it was the best match. Look, there's an argument for Page and Omega because at least it has a story of some sort involved. No one was saying the Young Bucks. That match came out of nowhere to have 5 stars. Nobody was saying that.
And again, we're supposed to like the young guys that are coming up, that are outperforming and you know, overreaching and innovating and etc. So if you're talking about grading for the room, then that type of crowd expects Twinkle Toes' match to be great, and they suffer the presence of the Hardley Boys and they indulge them in whatever it is they do. But clearly, even in front of that crowd, MJF and Darby Allin was the highlight of the night. And Dave cannot at least give them that in their moment. They earned it. They went out and exceeded expectations and outperformed even what people might have thought they would and stole the show. And in a rare occasion for AEW, it wasn't even petty theft. And he still can't recognize that. He's got to try to influence people that the Hardley Boys and Twinkle Toes were still better because of his bogus grading system.
But that's what it is. All the times that he said you were out of touch, and me or anyone that agrees with us is out of touch, he's right. We're out of touch with that Young Buck shit. And more than likely, I'm going to stay out of touch with that. But I'm telling you, man, Dave's a bit out of touch with everyone in wrestling who's younger than that, because I don't think he sees what's really going on right now. And giving that Young Bucks match 5 stars, I mean, that's... unless Dave did it for attention, that's sad. That's really sad.
It also, it influences people who want to be wrestlers to think, oh, okay, well, that means that's a great match doing all that shit they did, so I'm going to do more of that. And then you get more shitty wrestlers.
At some point, you got to stop being the Bucks Protection Agency. Like, fuck.
The BPA.
Fuck, every time the Lepton twins have their feelings hurt, here's Dave with a fucking 5-star review. What the fuck? That match with the fucking Jurassic Express and Christian? 5 stars? What?
But now they are from California and they're brothers. Maybe they're the Menendezes.
No.
Except their murder is of the wrestling business.
Yeah, I don't know. But just it's sad. This is just sad. This is so out of touch with everyone. What everyone saw in that pay-per-view. It's insane. But no, I can't defend Dave anymore, and I'm not going to defend Dave anymore. After everything I witnessed with you and him and the way that was twisted, and then just one thing after another, I can't defend any of this.
It's just, at least make it look good. At least make it look good.
Yeah, really.
Every once in a while, have them do the job by half of a star, just so that you can point to that. Make it look good. Anyway, who are you going to rate highly on your various programming this week?
I'm not sure who's going to look good this week, but find out on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network. Get information about all shows on Twitter at Superpodcast or on Facebook, facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard. A few notes. The latest episode, or I should say 2 episodes of Stick to Wrestling with John McAdam out right now, where John reviews Starrcade 86, including an infamous scaffold match 35 years ago. How does it feel? We haven't really talked about the idea there's an anniversary right now of the scaffold match.
Shit, it's coming up. It's coming up anytime. I guess I usually know when the anniversary of the scaffold match is coming up when the weather turns cold and my arthritis starts kicking in. That's how I know.
All right, we'll hear more about the scaffold match and Starrcade 86 and more. Stick to Wrestling with John McAdam at McAdamPod.com or search for Stick to Wrestling with John McAdam wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Also want to make a little bit of an announcement. Some of you may have seen this on social media. Very happy to say that after a critically acclaimed appearance on the 605 Super Podcast, Brian Solomon will be launching a new show with Arcadian Vanguard. Stay tuned for more information. We're working on it now. It's in development. and we are all very excited about it.
What's the name of it? The Wisdom of Solomon?
Shut up and wrestle.
Well, all right. Well, fuck, you don't need to get hot. I thought we were going to finish this show
I'm just
first.
telling you the name.
Shut up?
No, I'm telling you the name of the show.
What's the name of the show?
Shut up and wrestle.
Hey, now, goddammit. If you don't want to tell me the name of the show, just let me know, but you don't have to be rude.
All right, well, I won't say the third time. I've heard Beetlejuice will show up, but you can get more information about that on social media, more news to come, more announcements in the coming weeks. Also, the Mid-Atlantic Championship Podcast with Mike Sempervive and Roman Gomez. Check out the latest episode right now at midatlanticpod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcast. A wonderful review of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Go back and revisit your favorite Mid-Atlantic memories, as well as discover some things you never heard before on the Mid-Atlantic Championship Podcast.
I've heard all kinds of things on this show I've never heard before.
We'll see how much of it makes the air, but of course, the 605 Super Podcast, The Mothership! Sometimes you know exactly how I'm feeling. Of course, go through the archive today at 605pod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcast. New episodes in production right now. Stay tuned for more information here on this show, the 605 Super Podcast, The Mothership.
Is Roman Gomez from Pepper's first or second marriage?
You know what? That's funny. I wish I would have used that before you had a chance to.
I'll be glad. If you want to send me a check, you can edit it off this show and take it over.
Do you accept crypto?
No. Oh. I don't accept any cryptic currency.
Well, it's not cryptic.
It certainly is. Have you seen the way it bops up and down? You never know what you're dealing with. You need to invest in things like WSJ wine. That stuff appreciates in value.
Well, speaking of things that bop up and down, did you watch AEW Dynamite this week?